Okay, so it's story time. So I have so many stories to tell you about um, different types of stories, but this one is going to be about um, what how I made the fire department show up to my neighborhood. So I like old trucks, especially Ford 79, and I had like three of them. I had like six of them, but I was working on three of them, and I had bought a a truck, one of those trucks I had just bought, and I called it half and half because it was half 95 and half 79. The body was 79, but the frame was 95. So we took the we took the what do you call it in English, the gas tank. We took the gas tank off of it to clean it. So you know, I didn't thought much about it. You know, I when some guy passed to my house, um, he was collecting metal junk, you know, and I told him to take the gas tank, and he told me, "No, man, I can't take the gas tank because I don't know where to throw the gas." So I was like, no big deal, and I pour it, the side, by the sidewalk, and I pour the gas, nothing much, and it was in the morning, and by that time I had a car wash van, us, with a, like if I like a car wash, I had a full van built to wash cars, mobile car wash, but I never used it. I'll tell you that story. Well, I used it twice, but I'll tell you that story later on. So I had it parked in my house, and took the kids to the school in the morning, came back, and when I came back, it really smelled like gas, the whole fucking neighborhood. It was like, fuck, what the fuck's going on? And so I was like, I started panicking a little bit. So I was like, okay, fuck it, I started panicking because like if somebody, it's gonna burn if they throw a fucking cigarette or if somebody, puts a match. So what I did is I put some water in it, and I just opened the hose and let some water, for like an hour, hour and a half. So I thought that was gonna be enough. It still smelled like gas, but in my mind I was like, okay, at least I don't think it's gonna, burn or anything. So so I went inside my house, whatever. Then I started hearing, you know, like not the sirens, but the no, it's too when you live in a quiet area and you start, there's people outside, and you start hearing things, and then you hear the big trucks, pass by your house. So I was like, what's going on? And I was in the second floor, and I looked, and no shit, there were some firefighters all in the block. All the firefighters going through houses, trying to, like trying to figure out where the smell was coming from. And I don't know what the fuck. These guys had something in their hand, you know, just walking and seeing. I don't know if that, little machine they had detected the smell. I don't know what the heck, but they were looking at something and they were following, and they end up in my van, in my van. So, in my van has a big ass fucking sign with my number, my phone number. So, I was like, fuck, they're gonna call me. Fuck, they're gonna call me. But no, they walked into my damn and they knocked at my house. I was like, fuck, am I going to go to jail? I'm gonna get a big ass fucking ticket. Should I just fucking, don't go out? I was like, fuck, what do I do now? So I was like tripping, you know, and they were knocking and knocking, and I was like, fuck, I have to come up with something. And, I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? So after after a while of them knocking and knocking at my house, I was like, man, I'm just gonna open. I opened, you know, and I was like, oh, sorry it took so long. I was sleeping or whatever. I remember what the fuck I told them. But they asked me, is that your van right there? And I was like, yeah, that's my van. They're like, hey, can you open it because I think it has a leak, you know? And man, I couldn't, because you know, I don't want to say I don't lie, because I do. But at that point, I was like, man, I'm just gonna tell them this, and I told them because they see all my trucks, the other trucks behind my on the side of my other house, and they can see all the trucks being worked on. And I told them, look, this is what happened. This morning, this guy passed by my house collecting, metal, and I told him, look, you can take the tank, you can take this, you can take that. I didn't know that the tank gas still had gas in it. When I came from the school in the morning, dropping off my kids, right away I smelled, gas. So what I did is, I pour water on it, and eventually when I put water, the smell went farther apart, because the gas just went towards the gas. It just went to a distance and stayed there. But because I put water, it made it longer. The path made it longer, and that caused a bigger problem. So I told them, kind of the truth, not all the truth, but the truth. And they were like, all right, so it's just gas, all right. So, and you put water, like, yeah. So it was like, okay, so now we know how we were thinking it was, some gas, one of the houses was leaking gas and stuff like that. So, eventually they didn't give me a warning, they didn't tell me anything. They just, were, I think, happy that it was a mistake like that somebody made, and it was nothing bigger, where explosion or something. So yeah, that's one of the times that I brought the whole fire department. Well, not the whole fire department, but there was at least 4 or 5 trucks and a lot of damn firefighters right there in my neighborhood. So it's a funny one, I like to tell my friends about it in Spanish, for some reason, when you tell stories in Spanish you know, are funnier than English, but I guess this YouTube channel's in English. So, or if someone wants to hear it in Spanish, I can go ahead and do that as well. So, that's my story of today before I go to sleep. Right? So, subscribe, Hopefully, you guys like this YouTube channel. I still have 4 subscribers, so hopefully people are start subscribing. I'm not in a hurry, so let's see what happens.